Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to target a remote site reliability engineering job in a product-based company. So a few of you already know me that I'm working as a senior site reliability engineer. It's a remote job and I'm working for a product-based company. So a few of my subscribers have reached out to me asking for a video on this topic, that how can someone target these type of jobs. So let's start the topic. So the first thing that I want to talk about is that I did not have any referral. I did not have any connection anywhere. I just used LinkedIn to apply and I got the job. So it is not overly complicated. Most of you already know how to use LinkedIn to apply jobs, or how to update the profile and other details. So the same thing I also did, but the things that I did slightly differently is what I want to talk about today. So the first thing is that I try to optimize my LinkedIn profile as much as I can. And when I say optimization, I just don't mean that I did it once and then I just left it like that. No. I modified my profile multiple times till it actually worked for me. So I kept refining it until I started receiving recruiter calls. Initially, when I started applying to jobs, started modifying my LinkedIn profile, nothing happened for the first 2 weeks. So there was absolutely zero response to anything that I was doing on LinkedIn. And that's where most people quit, because you start to doubt yourself whether this is going to work or not. But it's not like that. It takes time, but if you just stick to it and don't give up, it's going to work someday. Okay, so I did not quit even after like not receiving any response from any recruiter on any of the jobs that I was applying, any of the optimization that I was doing. And yeah, but I just kept on going. So I kept improving my profile. I updated my headline with stronger DevOps and SRE keywords. I added some measurable impact as well in my day-to-day roles and responsibilities. I rewrote my summary multiple times. I used ChatGPT and Copilot multiple times. I gave it like different type of prompts to get the different type of outputs. So I made my experience more outcome driven instead of responsibility driven, you can say, when I was updating my profile. At the same time, I also modified my CV, specifically the one that I used to apply on LinkedIn. I made it high value, and that is actually critical. So how the meaning of this high value is that whatever responsibilities you are mentioning, what impact did it actually create on the customer side, or how did you benefited the company that you were working for, or the project that you were part of. There's one sample CV which I have already shared in one of my videos. You can take a look at that also, but I'm going to put the link of that video in the description of this video. Because recruiters are scanning hundreds of resumes, you know that, for remote uh, DevOps roles. They are looking for signals of production experience, AWS expertise. Since I am from AWS background, I'm talking about AWS, but if you are from Azure or GCP, it's going to be the same for you also. Kubernetes depth, then GitOps knowledge, and real troubleshooting capabilities. These are some of the things that if you can mention in your resume, it's going to put your resume ahead of others. If your CV does not communicate any value in the first 10-15 seconds, it is very hard to get shortlisted, because so many people are applying to these jobs. You already know that. And I only got one call from this a product based company and SRE and remote. So all these things I got only in one job, and luckily I was able to grab the opportunity. So as I mentioned, I kept applying to multiple remote product company roles, and slowly the recruiter started recruiter calls started coming. Okay, but I only got one job or one role where I was having SRE, I was having remote, and it was a product based company. But even then, I was getting a lot of calls from other like service based companies and other startup companies. So I started receiving calls after a couple of weeks. Basically, is what I mean. So I kept optimizing my profile. I kept optimizing my CV. I used ChatGPT, Copilot, everything to make it work. Now, if I talk about what the recruiters are asking me when they call me for the first time. So one interesting pattern that I notice is that recruiters for remote DevOps and SRE roles, they're going to test you slightly differently. They asked me, how comfortable are you working in the remote setup? Do you have a stable, high quality internet connection? And one more thing that I noticed is, are you used to asynchronous communication? So this might sound very basic, but it matters a lot, especially in the remote SRE roles. Because when you work remotely, you cannot just walk to someone's desk if Slack or Teams message are not answered for a while, right? So you must own issues independently, and product companies know that. So that is why remote interviews are usually tougher than walk-ins or face-to-face interviews. So they're going to test your ownership skills more deeply as compared to any other interviews. So this is about when the recruiter started calling me, and they were just trying to gather the information about me, whether I have a stable internet connection, I'm comfortable in remote setting, and stuff like that. Now, if I talk about the interview rounds that I faced, once again there was a difference in when you are appearing in interviews for a service based company as compared to a product based company, especially if it's a remote role. So my round one was an online time bound technical test. Okay, so the first round was an online time bound subjective technical assessment where they were asking me about Kubernetes, AWS, high availability concepts, troubleshooting scenarios, Docker, shell scripting. Most of the online test was subjective. There were a few multiple choice questions as well, but very less, and it was all time bound. So it actually required real explanations. Those questions that were being asked. So if you are targeting a remote DevOps or SI role, you must be strong in your fundamentals, especially Kubernetes architecture, scaling strategies, AWS networking. So this is one of the most important things that may be asked in these type of interviews. After clearing this, I moved to the first live technical round. So this round was also very intense. It was with a principal engineer, so you already know that how senior this position is, and the level of interview is going to be very high as compared to anyone else if it takes that round. So I knew that it's going to be slightly difficult. So I prepared just like that. So the focus was completely on the practical things. He asked me, how do you deploy an application in AWS from scratch? How do you scale the application? How do you manage the application or monitor it? Then how do you troubleshoot failures? So it was less about definitions and more about architectural thinking. So they wanted to know whether I understand the production level reliability or not. So just prepare yourself in that manner only. Have that level of uh, expectations in your mind that you will be asked about these things. This is something I have already covered in my DevOps and SRE interview playlist. So make sure you check that out. Okay. So then if I speak about round three, it was with the panel from US, and it was a late night interview. And this one was very interesting. There were three people. I think they were all from the US, and the interview timing was really awkward for me. It was 11:30 p.m. my time, so from 11:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. And I remember, I mean, frankly speaking, I was very sleepy at that time, but somehow I was able to manage myself well in that interview. So the questions that were asked in this round, it was mostly about explain your GitOps workflow, what dashboards have you created in your current project, what alerts did you configure and why, what metrics did you monitor, how do you start troubleshooting a production outage, tell us about the biggest outage you handled, what is the toughest challenge working with AWS EKS clusters. So most of these questions are available on my YouTube channel. You can explore it. Okay, all these I've covered. Not all, I think, but most of these questions are covered, and whatever is not covered, I'm going to cover it in the next few days. So if you see here, these questions are not for beginners, of course. These are all real production SRE based questions. So remote companies, product based companies, the level of interview is going to be slightly higher as compared to other companies, is what I felt. So they're going to test you about your observability, maturity, incident response clarity, ownership mindset, depth in AWS EKS clusters, because I am from AWS background and I mentioned that I have managed EKS clusters. So they're going to ask you in depth about EKS, especially. So once again, like as I mentioned, many of these things I've already covered on my channel. You can check the various playlists available. So it's going to help you. Then I moved on to round 4, and it was with an engineering director. I also spoke about this round with the HR, and he told me that it's going to be a behavioral discussion, but it wasn't. It was deeply technical, and all the questions were strategic level. So this engineering director asked me about higher level architectural and decision making questions. So I believe he wanted to see whether I can think long term, or can I design scalable systems? Can I take ownership without any supervision? So these are some of the things that I found that he was trying to test me on. So for remote product roles, strategic thinking matters more than tool knowledge. So don't focus just on tools. Okay, so the tools are going to change from time to time, but your mindset about strategic thinking, it matters a lot. So these are all the 4 rounds that happened, and somehow I was able to negotiate well and I was able to get the offer. So after this fourth round, the final round was with the HR. So it was an HR discussion round. So after clearing all the technical rounds, I discussed about the compensation, the remote policies, the expectations, the time zone that I had to work in. Luckily, I'm working in my normal day shift timings, so it was also good. I think in most of the companies you will find this type of setting only. So in service based companies you might be working in rotational shifts or some odd hours, but in product based companies in general you will find that you are working in your normal time zone, normal day shift, like a 9 to 5 type of shifts. So this is also really good in these companies. So after I discussed all these things, after a few days I got my offer letter. So this is how I was able to land a remote senior site reliability engineer role in a product based company. Once again, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me in the comment section, and I'm going to answer all your queries. And if you like this video, then I have a lot of different videos on my channel. Please explore all the different playlists. Go through. I share a lot of real world stuff. Okay, so you can go through that. Have any queries, you can always reach out to me in the comment section. All right, so that's all I wanted to share in this video. I hope this video was useful to you. If it was, I request that please hit the like button, please share this video with others, and please do subscribe to my channel. All right guys, that's all for this one, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye for now.